A little girl picks up the phone.
Hello? Yeah?
Hey, sweetheart, it's Dad. Is Mom around?
No, Mom's in the bedroom with our neighbor, Robert.
With who? We don't have a neighbor named Robert.
Yes, we do. He's in the bedroom with Mom. She told me not to bother them while they finish something.
The dad freezes for a second. Okay, listen carefully. Put the phone down, go upstairs, knock on the door, and say that Dad just pulled into the driveway.
Okay, Dad, but I want a little reward for that.
A few minutes later, the girl comes back.
I did it, Dad.
And what happened?
Mom got scared, jumped out of bed, tripped over the rug, hit her head on the table, and now she's just lying there.
Oh, no. And what about that Robert?
He freaked out too, jumped out the window straight into the pool. But the pool's empty because you said it needed repainting. He's lying there too, not moving.
The pool? Wait a second. Is this Emily?
No, you've got the wrong number.
Once a doctor dies. He was a heart specialist. At the funeral, his family members and friends make a special coffin on which there is a heart. A man laughs. Another man asks him why he laughed. He says, "I am a gyno. I wonder what they will do at my funeral." A big, burly man visited the pastor's home and asked to see the minister's wife, a woman well known for her charitable impulses. "Madam," he said in a broken voice, "I wish to draw your attention to the terrible plight of a poor family in this district. The father is dead. The mother is too ill to work, and the 9 children are starving. They are about to be turned into the cold, empty streets unless someone pays their rent, which amounts to $400. "How terrible!" exclaimed the preacher's wife. "May I ask who you are?" The sympathetic visitor applied his handkerchief to his eyes. "I'm the landlord," he sobbed. Tim showed up to court in his leather vest, sunglasses, and a shirt that read, "Respect your elders, or else." The judge looked over his glasses. "Mr. Tim, you're charged with sleeping on a motorcycle on public property. Do you have anything to say in your defense?" Tim stood proudly. "Yes, Your Honor. That Harley has better lumbar support than your courthouse benches, and it doesn't snore like my wife." Gasps. Chuckles, one slow clap from the back. The judge leaned forward. "Are you trying to be funny?" Tim smirked. "Only if it gets me out of the parking ticket, but I am guilty of being fabulous." A woman went to her doctor's office. She was seen by one of the new doctors, but after about 4 minutes in the examination room, she burst out screaming and ran down the hall. An older doctor stopped her and asked what the problem was, and she explained. He had her sit down and relax in another room. The older doctor marched back to the first and demanded, "What's the matter with you? Mrs. Terry is 63 years old. She has 4 grown children and 7 grandchildren, and you told her she was pregnant?" The new doctor smiled smugly as he continued to write on his clipboard. "Cured her hiccups, though, didn't it?" 2 men are in a lunatic asylum, and one night they decide they don't like living in an asylum anymore. They decide they're going to escape. They get up onto the roof, and there, just across this narrow gap, they see the rooftops of the town, stretching away in the moonlight to freedom. The first man jumps right across with no problem, but his friend didn't dare make the leap, afraid of falling. So then the first man has an idea. He says, "Hey, I have my flashlight with me. I'll shine it across the gap between the buildings. You can walk along the beam and join me." The second man immediately spots the problem with this and shakes his head. "What do you think I am, crazy? You'd turn it off when I was halfway across." A new guy starts working on a construction site. Every morning, he shows up in a brand new luxury Mercedes. The other workers can't believe it. Same job, same pay, so how is he affording that car? After days of complaints, the foreman finally asks him, "Foreman, all right, what's your secret?" New guy,
I'm a gambler. I bet on anything, and I don't lose. The foreman laughs. That's impossible. The new guy smiles. Tell you what, 200 euros says that in 2 weeks, something very unusual will happen to you. Curious and confident, the foreman takes the bet. For 2 weeks, he's extra careful. He watches everything, avoids risks, stays clean, and does everything right. 2 weeks pass, nothing happens. The foreman goes to collect his 200 euros. New guy, fair enough, but I need to confirm. Reluctantly, the foreman agrees to a quick check right there on site. After a moment, the new guy nods and hands over the money. Confused, the foreman asks, "How do you make money losing bets like that?" The new guy grins. "I didn't tell you. I made a separate bet with everyone else here that today you'd actually let me do that in front of the whole crew." A man had just gotten married. A few days later, he told his wife proudly, "I am the head of this house. My word will be final." The wife smiled gently and replied, "Of course, you are the head." A few days later, the husband was sitting with his friends boasting, "In my house, only my decision matters." Just then, his wife called from inside, "Listen, on your way back, bring potatoes, tomatoes, yogurt, and some utensils. And yes, stop by Mom's house, too." The husband immediately replied, "Yes, dear, I'll bring everything right away." His friends looked at him in surprise and asked, "What was that?" The husband sighed softly and said, "Brother, I'm the head of the house, but she runs the government." Jim and Edna are both mental patients. One day, Jim jumps into the swimming pool but doesn't come up for air. Quick as a flash, Edna sees her friend in trouble, so she dives in and pulls him out. Later, the hospital director calls Edna into his office and says, "Edna, I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is we are releasing you as you are obviously sane, saving another's life. But unfortunately, the bad news is that Jim hanged himself in the bathroom." "Oh, no," Edna replies. "That's where I put him to dry." A couple is driving to their holiday destination when a frog hops into the road. The driver slams the brakes just in time, gets out, and carries the frog safely to the side. The frog says, "Thanks for saving me. I'll grant you one wish." The man thinks and says, "I want my dog to win the next race." "Let me see the dog," says the frog. The man opens the door and out struggles a fat, three-legged dog that can barely walk. The frog winces. "That's a tough one. Got another wish?" The man nods. "All right, make my wife win a beauty pageant." "Let me see her," says the frog. The wife steps out of the car. The frog looks her over, pauses, then turns back to the man and says, "Mind if I take another look at the dog?" My cousin called and asked if I would loan her £300 to help her pay her rent. I told her to give me some time to think about it and I would call her back. Before I called her back, my aunt called and told me that my cousin was lying and not to give her the money. She goes on to say that the real reason my cousin wanted the £300 was to get her boyfriend out of jail so she could be under the same roof as him for his birthday. I was mad when I heard that, but I thought about it for a minute and decided to give her the £300 because we all need help at times. So I called my cousin and told her to come get the money. A couple of hours later, I get a call from the correctional facility. It was my cousin crying, screaming, and asking why I gave her counterfeit money. My response? So you and your boyfriend could be under the same roof for his birthday. A man goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, wherever I touch, it hurts." The doctor asks, "What do you mean?" The man says, "When I touch my shoulder, it really hurts. If I touch my knee, ouch. When I touch my forehead, it really, really hurts." The doctor says, "I know what's wrong with you. You've broken your finger." One day, Pete complained to his friend, My head really hurts. I guess I should see a doctor. His friend said, don't do that. There's a computer at the drugstore that can diagnose anything quicker and cheaper than a doctor. Simply tell it the problem, put in a sample of your urine, and the computer will diagnose it and tell you what you can do about the issue you're having. It only costs $20. Pete figured he had nothing to lose, so he filled a jar with a urine sample and went to the drugstore. Finding the computer, he poured in the sample and deposited the $20. The computer started making some noise and various lights started flashing. After a brief pause, out popped a small slip of paper which read, "You have migraines. You need to take better care of yourself. Get daily rest, drink a lot, and avoid bright lights, stress, and strain. See me again in 2 weeks." During the next 2 weeks, while thinking about how amazing this new technology was and how it would change medical science forever, he began to wonder if it could be fooled. He decided to give it a try. He mixed together some tap water, a stool sample from his dog, and urine samples from his wife and daughter. To top it off, he even added some oil from his car. He went back to the drugstore, located the computer, poured in the sample, and deposited the $20, again stating he had a bad headache. He waited curiously to see what the computer would say about the odd mix. The machine again made the usual noises, flashed lights, and printed out the following analysis. Your tap water has too much waste in it. Your dog has ringworm. Your teenage daughter is pregnant. Your wife has had 5 different lovers in the past 6 months. Also, your car needs a new radiator, and you wonder why you have a headache. Teacher fell asleep in class, and little Johnny walked up to him. Little Johnny: Teacher, are you sleeping in class? Teacher: No, I am not sleeping in class. Little Johnny: What were you doing, sir? Teacher: I was talking to God. The next day, little Johnny fell asleep in class, and the same teacher walks up to him. Teacher: Johnny, you are sleeping in my class. Little Johnny: No, not me, sir. I am not sleeping. Angry teacher: What were you doing? Little Johnny: I was talking to God. Angry teacher: What did he say? Little Johnny: God said he never spoke to you yesterday. I came home from work last night and told my wife that I've been given a huge promotion at work, which means I get my own office and I get to employ my own private secretary. Well, you'd better hire someone who's a bit old, fat, and ugly, she said. I don't want you choosing someone who you're going to be tempted to have with. That's fair enough, I replied. When can you start? 3 inmates were on the way to prison. They were each allowed to take 1 item with them to help them occupy their time while incarcerated. On the bus, one turned to another and said, "So, what did you bring?" The first convict pulled out a box of paints and stated that he intended to paint anything he could. He wanted to become the Grandma Moses of jail. Then he asked the second, "What did you bring?" The second convict pulled out a deck of cards and grinned and said, "I brought cards. I can play poker, solitaire, gin, and any number of games." The third convict was sitting quietly aside, grinning to himself. The other 2 took notice and asked, "Why are you so smug? What did you bring?" The guy pulled out a box of tampons and smiled. He said, "I brought these." The other 2 were puzzled and asked, "What can you do with those?" He grinned and pointed to the box and said, "Well, according to the box, I can go horseback riding, swimming, roller skating." An old blind cowboy wanders into an all-girl biker bar by mistake. He finds his way to a bar stool and orders a shot of Jack Daniels. After sitting there for a while, he yells to the bartender, "Hey, do you want to hear a blonde joke?" The bar immediately falls absolutely silent. In a very deep, husky voice, the woman next to him says, "Before you tell that joke, cowboy, I think it is only fair, given that you are blind, that you should know 5 things. The bartender is a blonde girl with a baseball bat. The bouncer is a blonde girl with a billy club. I'm a 6-foot-tall, 175-pound blonde woman with a black belt in karate. The woman sitting next to me is blonde and a professional weightlifter. The lady to your right is blonde and a professional wrestler. Now think about it seriously, cowboy. Do you still want to tell that blonde joke? The blind cowboy thinks for a second, shakes his head, and mutters, "No, not if I'm going to have to explain it 5 times." During a visit to the mental asylum, a visitor asked the director what the criterion was that defined whether or not a patient should be institutionalized. "Well," said the patient, "we fill up a bathtub. Then we offer a teaspoon, a teacup, and a bucket to the patient and ask him or her to empty the bathtub." "Oh, I understand," said the visitor. "A normal person would use the bucket because it's bigger than the spoon or the teacup." "No," said the director. "A normal person would pull the plug. Do you want a room with or without a view?" A doctor walks into a room full of patients at a mental institution, takes out a pen and draws a door on the wall. He then tells all the patients that whoever wants to escape should use that door. Immediately they all rush towards it, but of course cannot go through. However, one patient sits still at the back with a smile on his face. He has not moved at all. The doctor thinks he must have been cured. He then asks the patient why he did not rush to the door, and the patient whispers, "They don't know that I'm the one who has the key." A crusty old biker walks into a bank and tells the woman at the teller window, "I want to open a damn checking account." The astonished woman replies, "I beg your pardon, sir. I must have misunderstood you. What did you say?" "Listen up, damn it. I said I want to open a DAMN checking account now." "I'm so sorry, sir, but that kind of language is not tolerated in this bank." The bank teller leaves the window and goes over to the bank manager to inform him of her situation. The manager agrees that the teller does not have to listen to that sort of language. They both return to the window, and the manager asks the old biker, "Sir, what seems to be the problem here?" "There's no damn problem," the man says. "I just won $50 million in the damn lottery, and I want to open a damn checking account in this damn bank." "I see," says the manager. "And is this bitch giving you a hard time?" An old Native American wanted a loan of $500, and a bank employee helped him with the application form that he needed to fill out. "What do you plan to do with the money, sir?" said the banker. "I want to buy silver, make jewelry, and then sell it," he answered. "What do you have to give as collateral?" asked the man in the suit. "I don't know what is collateral," replied the other one. "It's something that has value and can cover the amount of money that you are taking. For example, do you have a car?" "Yes, a 1959 Chevrolet pickup truck," replied the indigenous man. Shaking his head, the employee asked, "Maybe something else. What about cattle?" "Yes, I have a horse," he said. "And how old is your horse?" "I have no idea. He has no teeth," replied the Native American with concern. In the end, the bank employee felt sure that this man was trustworthy and decided to lend him the $500. Some time later, the old man returned to the bank, pulled out a wad of bills, and said to the employee, "Here you have the payment of what I owe for the credit." The bank employee asked, "What do you plan to do with the rest of the money?" "I will keep it in my house," replied the indigenous person. So the employee quickly asked, "Why don't you deposit it in my bank?" "I have no idea what a deposit is." The bank employee explains, "Put your money in our bank and we will take care of it. When you need to use it, you can withdraw it." Then the Native Americans surrounded the desk to approach the employee and asked, "What do you have to give as collateral?" A man approached a very beautiful woman in the large supermarket and said, "I've lost my wife here in the supermarket. Can you talk to me for a couple of minutes?" The woman looked puzzled. "Why talk to me?" she asked. "Because every time I talk to a woman with tits like yours, my wife appears out of nowhere." An 85-year-old widow went on a blind date with a 90-year-old man. She seemed upset when she returned to her daughter. "What happened, Mother?" the daughter asked. "I had to slap his face 3 times." "You mean he got fresh?" "No," she answered. "I thought he was dead."
The teacher asked little Johnny if he knew his numbers. "Yes," he said, "I do. My father taught me." "Good. What comes after 3? 4, answered the boy. "What comes after 6? 7. "Very good," said the teacher. "Your dad did a good job. What comes after 10? "A jack." Lisa bought a donkey from a farmer for £100. The farmer agreed to deliver the donkey the next day. In the morning he drove up and said, "Sorry, but I have some bad news. The donkey's died." Lisa replied, "Well, just give me my money back then." The farmer said, "Can't do that. I've already spent it." Lisa said, "Okay then, just bring me the dead donkey." The farmer asked, "What are you going to do with him?" Lisa said, "I'm going to raffle him off." The farmer said, "You can't raffle a dead donkey." Lisa said, "Sure I can. Watch me. I just won't tell anybody he's dead." A month later, the farmer met up with Lisa and asked, "What happened with that dead donkey?" Lisa said, "I raffled him off. I sold 500 tickets at £2 each and made a profit of £898. The farmer said, "Didn't anyone complain?" Lisa said, "Just the guy who won, so I gave him his £2 back."
An old man was traveling on his donkey's back on a highway. 2 cops, having seen that, decide to mess with him. So they approach the man and say, "Hey, why didn't you fasten your seatbelt?" "Well, I'm not going to do that." "Then we have to find you." "Yeah, just make it quick. I'm in a hurry." "So do you want us to find you or the donkey?" "What's the difference?" "If we find you, it's $500. If we find the donkey, it's $300. "Find me then." The officers chortle and ask, "Yeah, why is that?" "Let the donkey's record stay clear. I'll make him into an officer."